Unless you are severely strapped for cash, I suggest spending the money to get a professional business accountant. You could save maybe a few $100s by doing it yourself, but you may miss some things that could ultimately save you more money on your tax returns.
Phone bill about 2 G's flat. No need to worry, my accountant handles that.
Not only will an accountant handle your business expenses, they'll also file your taxes, do your bookkeeping, and handle payroll for your employees. If you have the budget, I suggest getting a quote for the following services. Number 1, sales tax filing. This is quarterly. Every meal that you sell is subject to sales tax, unless you live in a state that does not charge sales tax. Number 2, payroll tax filing. This is quarterly and annually. You'll be paying payroll taxes on every paycheck you give to your employees, unless you pay everyone off the books. Number 3, corporate tax filing. This is annual. If your business is a C Corp, you'll have to pay corporate taxes. This does not apply, however, if your business is a sole proprietorship, a partnership, or an LLC. Number 4, unemployment tax filing. This is annual. You need to pay unemployment taxes for your employees unless everyone is off the books. Number 5, bookkeeping. This is monthly. You want your accountant to track how much money comes in and goes out so they can properly report earnings and expenses. Number 6, payroll processing. This can be either direct deposit or personal checks, paid weekly or bi-weekly. Some accountants won't do direct deposit or will charge you extra for the service. Again, this won't apply if you pay everyone in cash. This is usually the only service out of the 6 I mentioned that will vary in cost based on how many employees you have and how often you pay them. Pricing for accounting services varies greatly from one accountant to the next, but don't automatically go for the cheapest accountant. If they don't do their job properly and you get hit with a fine, it is ultimately your responsibility to pay. I mean, you can try suing your accountant afterwards, but that in itself is a huge undertaking. On the other hand, just because an accountant is expensive doesn't mean that they're automatically better than a cheaper one, usually.
Why would your clients follow you? You're an accountant.
Some of my clients are quite dangerous.
Therefore, gather as much information as possible before choosing your accountant. I would start the search through friends, family, or coworkers first. If any of them are currently using a specific accountant and they're happy with the services provided, you can at least have some peace of mind that you won't immediately get screwed over.
I don't know, Bozo, the tax accountant?
Well, the good news is, since you do a sex advice podcast, which I really like, by the way, every time it's a write-off.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I would also contact every business accountant in your immediate area and ask for a quote. I'm not a huge fan of using Yelp or Google to find accountants, mainly because there are generally very few reviews for accounting services, even in New York City. And most or all of them are left by family and friends. But you can use those sites to weed out any really bad accountants. You can also try asking a few food trucks which accountants they use, and if there are any things you should look out for. Contact through email is preferable because you will want everything detailed in writing. This also gives you a chance to see how responsive each accountant is. If they don't respond within 1 to 2 days, I would move on. Most accountants will be on their best behavior when they're trying to court your business. So if they're unresponsive, even at this early stage, I would hate to imagine what will happen once you start paying them. One important note, if you're trying to find an accountant during tax season, which is from January 1st to April 15th, expect delayed responses no matter who you talk to. This is when accountants everywhere get slammed with filing taxes.
All right, people, listen up. The harder you push, the faster we will all get out of here.
Once you decide on an accountant, be sure to ask about all the accounting-related topics we've covered so far in this course, including the best business structure for your current situation and what additional expenses you can label as business expenses. A good accountant should also be able to provide you with an overview of your financial situation each year and provide some general guidance on things like how to transfer funds for future expansion or how to take on outside investment.
We now return to the Super Friends Accountant.
You owe $4 million in back property taxes.
We fight evil wherever we find it.
Well, that's not going to be enough. Look, you may need to reach out to some wealthy benefactors for financial backing. Do any of you know billionaire Bruce Wayne?
No, none of us do. And he wouldn't want to lend us money anyway, I hear.
Accountant fees vary very greatly based on where you live, the services that you get, and so on. But there's no upfront cost typically, so we'll put that as an optional expense, which still leaves our startup costs at $64,775 on the low end and $27,725 on the high end.